it will be going on the InLeeds YouTube channel. So you'll be able to kind of rewatch today's session back and any other sessions that have kind of gone on this week and previous InLeadsers. So yeah, we'll get started. So my name's Danielle. I am Student Engagement Coordinator from Leeds Beckett University. Before kind of coming to Leeds Beckett about a year ago, I was involved in the kind of charity sector in Leeds for several years. So it's an industry that I'm very passionate about. I've kind of, like I said, worked there, so I have a bit of experience myself. And kind of coming into Leeds Beckett, it's an area that I'm kind of really interested and excited to kind of talk to students about as well. So that is part of the reason why I've kind of got involved in Leeds and have delivered some of these sessions now. I'll let Alan and Neve introduce themselves and then just kind of quickly just talk through what the next hour will look like. So Alan, if you want to introduce yourself.
Sure. So my name's Alan. I'm the recruitment and onboarding manager for St Anne's Community Services. Yeah, I've been here around about 6 months. Fascinating charity, which I'll tell you a little bit more about soon. So nice to meet everyone.
Neve.
Hi, I'm Neve. I work at Oxfam in Batley. So we're actually not a shop, we're their northern hub and logistics centre. So we're home to the Oxfam online shop, the festival shops team, the transport team, and Waste Saver, which is Oxfam's national recycling centre. So we are actually about the size of 2 football pitches, but we're very well hidden. So I'm finding a lot of people don't know we exist. So I'm hoping to put Oxfam Batley on the map. So yeah, and I'm their volunteer recruitment coordinator. So I deal with all like new starter training and kind of the volunteer strategy, health and safety. And then also kind of a lot of PR and networking as well.
Thanks. Just a few bits then.
Yeah, there's lots. It's a very diverse role.
Great, thank you. So we're Alan and Neve are going to kind of talk you through the organisations that they come from a little bit more, and the sorts of opportunities available there. And then we'll just kind of have a bit of time at the end for any questions that anyone's got that's come out of the 2 talks. But as we're kind of going along, if you want to kind of pop anything in the chat, please do, and we can come to it at the end of their talks or presentations. Alan, are you okay to kind of, yeah, to make a start? Do you want to share your screen? Is there anything you want to
No, I thought I'd keep myself. I've got a few notes that I'll run through. There was a video that I was going to show you, but we're having some problems at our end. We recently moved offices to Morley, so IT is not quite on point at the moment, but it's fine. I'll just kind of go through a little bit about what we do, how we recruit, and kind of the roles that we're looking to recruit for. So St Anne's is a very large charity. We employ around about between 1,600 and 1,800 staff, including some of our volunteers. We work with adults who come from various backgrounds. So we run alcohol treatment centres, we run homelessness services, and we run supported living and residential services for people with various complex needs. We're a very hidden charity. A lot of our services, because of the clients that we look after, you may just walk through Leeds and never notice we're there, but we're actually, like I said, one of the largest charities in Leeds. We've got nearly 88 services dotted through Leeds and through the north. And yeah, we're extremely passionate about essentially giving people much more independence and putting people on the right track. Every person within the charity, whether you be in central office or on the front line, so to speak, we see our role as job coaches and really helping people. And it's one of those places where everyone's kind of welcomed with open arms. Recruitment that I'm responsible for. So every day is different, but essentially we usually have a requirement for between 20 to 50 vacancies at any one time. A lot of that is because the sector that we work in, so being in the social care sector, offers various different challenges, but also because of the nature of the charity, we're growing quite quickly. We're funded through various different channels, and I think a lot of local authorities that work with us and the adults that we support really enjoy working with us. So we are expanding quite rapidly, which is why we're recruiting quite a lot at the moment. We tend to recruit via online advertising, social media. We have started working with the universities, hence why I'm here today, and some of the work with the DWP. So you may see some of our roles online or on our website, or for various different other kind of avenues. Currently, we recruit various different roles, and I think it's the challenge for us is being a social care charity. A lot of people kind of think, oh, you must be in care to come and work for us, and albeit, you know, that's a fabulous area and that's where the majority of our vacancies are. We do offer different areas. As a central office team, we have around about 120 staff, and that's across business development, IT, HR, finance, and various different avenues. We also have a fantastic learning and development team that supports us with things like apprentices and training. So to touch on a little bit of the care and support side, so we currently are recruiting for around about 35-40 different types of support workers. And for anyone who doesn't know what a support worker is, essentially support workers are people that help clients with their kind of everyday tasks, takes them on holiday, goes to events, introduces them to the family, and generally looks after their well-being on a day-to-day basis. The nice thing about support workers, you can come from any sector. It's all about personality. It's all about having that attitude where, you know, you go above and beyond yourself to help others in need. A lot of people kind of look at support work as not an avenue that can be a career. Now, I've worked in social care, predominantly recruitment, for about 20 years now, and it's quite a big misconception. The majority of support workers can move into what we call a deputy manager role within a 3-year period. And then you can move into management and even area manager and operational management within usually a 5-year period. And once you start to get to that level, you're talking of salaries between 40 and 60,000, which is quite unlike any other sectors in regards to the way that you progress your pay scale quite quickly. So that kind of covers off a little bit of support worker stuff. At the moment, I might as well get this one out of the way, because I think it probably will be a question, is due to the nature of the charity, we currently aren't a registered sponsor for sponsorship for coming to work for us if you're located in a different country, but we are looking into that, just purely because certainly on our support worker and nursing level, we do need to look at trying to cope with the needs of the charity. I mentioned other roles, so like I said, we've got a huge central office team. We're currently looking for people to work in corporate governance, so that can be anyone that's maybe studying law or around that kind of more technical area, and again, that starting salary is around about 29,000, and that's you can come straight from university into a role like that, but hopefully that kind of shows you a little bit more that we don't just employ support workers. We're also looking for IT service desk analysts, so essentially them people that maybe are going through university at the moment who have got qualifications in IT, who are looking to move into more of a on-site IT technician kind of role. We're also looking for an equality diversity officer. I've just been told this morning, unfortunately, our fabulous equality and diversity officer is moving back to America. But again, that's a role that would suit maybe someone who's coming from university, and we're an incredibly diverse charity. And again, that'd be open to students who want to get involved in that kind of area. And also from a HR and recruitment function, we're always looking to grow our team. We have a couple of temp and permanent roles within the recruitment and HR function. And, these roles, we're not looking for anyone that's experienced. We're looking for people that have mainly a caring attitude, but also has that ambition to drive, because all of our roles, there is a clear progression planning. We fund all the training and qualifications for everyone that starts with us. And it's something we're incredibly proud of. And I think, you know, to demonstrate that, I mean, our head of IT used to be a support worker 6 years ago, and now he's head of IT. You know, what we do quite quickly is identify what someone is passionate about, and ultimately help them achieve their goals, whether it be a career change or moving up the ladder in their current situation. So yeah, hopefully that's a nice introduction. Tells you a little bit about what we're doing at the moment. Our head office is based in Morley. And we do offer hybrid working. So some of us work 1 day a week from the office, the rest from home. Some of us 5 days a week from the office from home. So again, we're incredibly flexible about work-life balance and that kind of side of things as well. So yeah, hopefully that kind of fills in everyone from that perspective.
Thanks, Alan. Thank you. Does anyone have any kind of questions off the back of that?
I have one.
Hi, is it Abby? Hi, Abby.
Abby, yeah. Hi. That sounds really interesting. I've literally never heard of that charity, and I've lived in Leeds for like 4 years, so that's nuts. Yeah. With the like support worker roles, do you have like a lot of like sort of sensitivity training and that kind of thing? Because like that sounds like a role I'd be really interested in, but I'd be worried that I'd like put my foot in it or like not quite know how to handle like difficult situations. Is there a lot of training that you get before you get into a role?
Yeah, so we have like I mentioned, we have a fantastic learning and development team, and I think that, you know, they're very supportive of people that maybe have not worked in care before, who have similar kind of concerns to you. So we offer full induction for the first 2 weeks, which goes through kind of different scenarios, how to manage different situations, and also to give you some confidence on how to deal with things. So you're fully supported, and that also includes things like gaining what we call your care certificate, and your various qualifications going through that pathway. And usually we don't throw people straight into the deep end, because obviously, I mean, I don't know if you've ever been into a service that kind of deals with clients that I've mentioned, but you know, they are very, you know, they're amazing buildings, they're very therapeutic buildings. Most of them have beautiful gardens. It's not, I think part of the misconception about the sector is it receives quite a bad press sometimes, and you can kind of see things that maybe might be a bit more intimidating, but it's really not like that. Yeah, you're fully supported throughout your journey with St Anne's, and that's not just from the first 2 weeks. We have a fantastic team of managers that you can liaise with. If you want to come and do some shadowing before you actually apply or go through the process, you can do. It's all about making you feel comfortable in your journey as a support worker and beyond.
Cool, thanks.
No worries.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a good question, Abby. Just off the back of that as well. If somebody was, because that's a really nice offer, Alan, if someone was kind of interested in kind of dipping their toe in the water, doing some volunteering or some shadowing or something like that before they went on to apply, what would be the best way to go about doing that?
I think that there'll be various avenues that we can get people involved with before they apply. I think that obviously we've got to be careful because all of our services are monitored by CQC. I don't know if everyone knows what CQC is, but just to explain there, the Care Quality Commission. And obviously we've got to go through a process to make sure that people are compliant before they go and sit and work with clients. But there's various opportunities where we get clients within central services. Clients have a massive input on not only the way that we recruit, they sit on our panels, but also just the general ideas across the charity. So there's opportunities to come and sit with clients, come and sit with some of the support workers, get an understanding about what a day in the life of looks for some of these guys. And obviously there's an opportunity to go outside. We will support that, but obviously it's got to be done in a way where, you know, we can't leave you alone with a client, for example, and that works both ways from a client's perspective and also from someone who's maybe new to the sector as well. So, you know, we can support and be as agile as you want to be. And that's, you know, there's no generic case in that. You know, if people want to come in a couple of times before they show their interest, they're more than welcome to. We offer a very open door policy.
Great, thank you. And there's just a question in the chat here from Tom as well. Tom just says, what would be the main skills you'd want to see from applicants?
It's a tough one because we've just changed the way that we interview and changed the way we ask interview questions. Because what we've recognised is, certainly from a support worker standpoint, I still want to make sure I'm aware that it's not just about support work, but what we've noticed is support workers or people that are very successful in the sector are not necessarily great interviewees. From my experience and probably general across the charity, support workers tend to be a little bit shy, and they tend to think of others before they think of themselves. And an interview process, it tends to be quite usually the best people in interviews tend to be very self-confident, and that's not what you usually get. So we've changed the way that we interview to look at much more value-based questions, and I think that's kind of where I'm going with the answer to this. Is we look at people that've got values. We look at people that are genuinely caring, and a lot of people across the UK and beyond usually know someone who they've cared for, or have a family member that they've cared for. And I think I would, if you're interested in getting in the sector, I would envisage yourself on how you would deal with those kind of situations, and do you go above and beyond. And it's all about identifying a person as a person rather than, and I think what's strange and great about the charity is, even if you're not focused on the front line, you get that feel of care and support, even if you're in a finance role. As a charity, we can't pay the huge amounts of money that maybe our corporate competitors could pay, but a lot of people come and work for us. It's not necessarily about the money, it's about having that satisfaction that not only the job you've done today is great for your department, but also for the great that your clients that are on the front line. So a long-winded answer, but it's all about values. It's all about having a caring attitude. Great timekeeping is obviously a good one, and things like planning as well. So a lot of the tasks the support workers do is focused around what we do for a client that day. Now, that may sound quite simple, but obviously these are clients that are usually just sat in a room. So we've got to make sure that we can go to the garden, we can plan, we're going to have a barbecue today. And it's all about that kind of time management and planning side of things as well. And ultimately, like I said at the start, we see ourselves as life coaches. So if you've got skills where you think, you've spoken to friends and you're always one of those people that friends come to seek advice, then I would say that's actually a really good trait to have if you want to become a support worker.
Thank you. So those sorts of kind of transferable skills that most students are picking up at university, they're kind of, like you say, the time management of several deadlines and kind of taking part in projects, teamwork kind of exercises on their course. Those are all the things that you'd kind of really like to be showcased in an application. 100%.
And I think the key thing is it's one of those sectors where you can literally come from anywhere. We've got people that qualified car mechanics who are now in support work and doing a fantastic job. We've got, funny enough, I went to a service in Ripon the other day, and one of the support workers there has got a law degree, and you never think of going from law to become a support worker, but it's all about those traits. And I think what we are very good at is, certainly in those first 6 months, we can show you actually you can make a fantastic career of coming to work with us, whether it be support work or in IT or various other roles. And I think once people start to see that, they kind of go, actually, I never knew that. I never understood that. And I think it's great to see. So we're very versatile. And I think also as well, we've moved away from applications. So we've moved into more CV and what we call warm calls. So we do like a pre-screen, and that can be like a 15-minute introduction. We also do some collaborative work with Skills for Care, and I don't mind sharing the link with everyone afterwards. But there's a video exercise which is I can't remember the exact name of it, but it basically is a 15-minute assessment, and it will say, would you make a good support worker? And it gives you some video examples of scenarios, and it's really interesting to see, because it generates a report at the end of the assessment, and it's really interesting to see some of the results, because sometimes you can go, I never thought about this sector before, but actually I rated really highly in it. So I'm happy to share that afterwards as well.
Definitely, that's really interesting. I've not heard of an application process like that before. And just the one last thing I just kind of wanted to pick up there as well, just before we kind of move on, is that kind of that thing around lived experience that you were talking about. I kind of just, it is, I think, probably worthwhile just kind of highlighting to people. It's something I hadn't really kind of thought of before I went for a job in a different organisation years and years ago, and they kind of really clearly stated on the application form, if you've got lived experience yourself of kind of struggling with your mental health, or you've cared for somebody, like, that's really valuable experience. It doesn't have to necessarily be paid in another job role or voluntary. Having that kind of that personal experience has given you those skills and, like you say, the values. And a lot of the time, if you're kind of happy and comfortable sharing that in an application process or in an interview, it is going to get across to the people recruiting that you're probably the kind of right person to work in the sector. So
and I think it's probably important to point out that actually quite a high proportion of our workforce are people that have actually gone into our services or have used our services. So I mentioned things like homelessness and addiction treatment centres that we run. And a lot of people kind of see the work we do. They come out of the end of their treatment and go, actually, I would love to go through and help people that went through what I go through. And I think that rhetoric really, really helps us out in regards to our workforce. So it really is a fabulous area. It's just a shame, like I say, it's not one of those where people talk about it much. I think people in social care or think of social care as much more elderly parents and that kind of elderly care home kind of situation. Whereas for us, the majority of our clients are between 18 to probably 35. So it really gives you a different perspective.
Right.
Can I ask another question?
Yeah.
I've just looked on your website, and there's the vacancies. I can see there's support worker, and there's also support advice resource coordinator. Could you tell me the difference between those roles?
Yeah, so a support worker is mainly focused on our services that we provide for people with learning disabilities. So a support worker is usually in either one or two different services. So that'll be a supported living service, which is essentially a building where clients can live independently, but they have a support worker on site that will just give them a hand. So it tends to be for clients that maybe have much more independence. And then there's residential services, which tends to be clients who have got much more needs, if that makes sense. The resource one is more focused on our homeless services. So one of our biggest sites is actually in Leeds, and again, you wouldn't know it's there. It's actually opposite the bus centre. Is a huge resource centre, and their role is slightly different, because the resource centre usually, and I'll give you an example because I was down there a couple of weeks ago. We went in and just went and met the manager and introduced ourselves, because we like to get out as a recruitment team to understand what the needs are. And while we were talking to the manager, someone had just come out of prison, and they walked in and they were in tears, and they said, I've come out of prison, I've got no postcode, don't know where to go, what do I do? And the advisors there said, this is your home now, you can use our postcode, let's say the bank account details, and here's a bed for the night, and go into that room and help yourself to close. So it's a slightly different perspective on the role, although a lot of the elements in regards to successful candidate tend to have the same traits. So yeah, again, sorry, a long-winded answer but I thought it was useful to explain it.
Definitely. Would you say you need more experience for that role than the support worker role?
No, not at all. No, not at all. It's the traits are exactly the same. It's all about having that caring attitude, wanting to make a difference, and helping people that need support.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
No worries.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think it's always good to have a slightly long-winded answer, especially with these sorts of roles as well. Like if you see them advertised, you just think actually what is the day-to-day of a support worker, or the different sorts of things. I've just popped your website with the vacancies just in the chat for anyone else that wants to have a look.
Yeah.
Gonna hand over to Niamh now, but just before we do that, I'm just going to launch a poll. My bad, only halfway through and I've remembered. But if people on the call could just let us know what university you're from, and if you're a current student or a graduate, that'd be really helpful. It's just for everyone that kind of works on InLeeds, just to obviously know who it is that is coming along and who it is we're talking to.
Am I taking over now, or?
Yes. You want to share your screen?
Gosh.
Okay. Thanks everyone for that.
Okay, so how do sorry, I spend most of my time on Teams, not Zoom. How do I do this? Right, share screen.
Yes, the green at the bottom. I can share it if you're having any issues though, Niamh.
Fab. Brilliant there. Have you got it? Can everyone see that? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to be talking to you all more about the volunteering opportunities at Oxfam Batley. There is potential for them to lead to paid opportunities too, but I'm mainly promoting volunteering and why it's beneficial for students and everyone else really. So why do people volunteer? So there's a very diverse and varied reasons why people volunteer. They may want to give back, they tend to be people who have lived a lot of life already, mainly retirees. A lot of people are passionate about Oxfam's causes. So I don't know if you know about Oxfam, but their main goal is to end global poverty. Oxfam believes there's no reason why people should live in poverty, and we're making it our mission to kind of end that. And here at Batley, the way we do that is through sustainable fashion. So, all our volunteer roles here are focused around kind of putting the circular economy and extending the wear of our clothes. We also get other reasons to volunteer are work experience. So whether that's short term, a few weeks, or we also offer university placements, which can be anything up to a year. There's people who want to bulk out their CV, look for new skills, and hopefully through volunteering here, we can teach you those skills. Some people just have spare time and want to do something positive within that. It's also for a lot of people a new experience, and I think especially not so much charity shops, as we've all been to charity shops and shops before, but the hub environment is like nothing else really, and I think people tend to be blown away about the size of the operation here, and how that's run and managed is quite interesting in my opinion. We also have a lot of volunteers who may be looking for jobs, and I know we've all been told multiple times, there's one job and 50 applicants, so the chances are there's going to be 45 people that are perfectly capable of doing that job. Now when you've applied and you've just been unfortunate, I know a lot of volunteers here, it really does begin to knock your confidence. So I think while people are applying for jobs, to have something alongside that and to build up those skills and build up your confidence can be really beneficial and help a volunteer to land that paid role. We also have a lovely perk. So we have the festivals shops team here. So if you volunteer with Oxfam for 3 months or more, you do qualify to go to a festival with with Oxfam. So this year there's been Glastonbury, there's been, I think a team have just got back from Latitude, a team have just gone to, where is it? WOMAD today, and then there's about 10 to 11 festivals I think we do yearly. So yes, you have to do a couple of hours working for Oxfam, but it does also get you a free ticket to enjoy, you know, hopefully your favourite bands and artists. Bear with me. So I think I've touched on it, but we do have a very diverse volunteer and work profile here. So we have a mix of students, retirees, people that are just looking to give back, and people that are also unemployed that are looking for those extra skills to land a job. So the typical volunteering roles we have here are sorting, garment care, photography, listing and dispatch. So sorting involves, when the donations come in, it involves opening the bag and assessing each item to see where that item will be best placed, in terms of where is that item going to make the most money for Oxfam. So would that be, so typically if it's worth about £10 or more, we'll put it on the online shop. If it's worth less than that, we will support a few local shops with extra stock. If it is damaged in any way, for example, if it's bobbled or, you know, stained or ripped, but the condition's still all right, it will get repurposed for cleaning materials, insulation. Mattresses is a big one in Batley. We have a lot of mattress suppliers. If you're sitting on a chair that has a bit of comfort cushion, that's some kind of insulation. And then the worst case scenario is if that bag is contaminated, whether that's used underwear, used socks, if people have put the donations in the shed for 2 years before donating them, and they're just contaminated, those items will get burnt for renewable energy. So we have a policy here that nothing from the site here goes to landfill, which we're really proud of. Okay, for students, might be more applicable. We do offer placements, so that could be short-term placements or anything up to a year. And we offer a bit more than the usual volunteering roles. So you have, you're able to pick a specialism. So whether that's social media, upcycling, which is repurposing clothes, and kind of making something new with them. So for example, we have a student at the moment that's used a lot of like men's shirts and remade them into ladies' shirt dresses. We've just introduced 2 new placements, so that would be sustainability and events. So hopefully next year we'll get a bit more, a few more of a more diverse range of students, you know, because I think with sustainability, there's all the environmental courses and business courses as well. And then with events, we're giving students who want to take that placement role full autonomy to create an event somewhere. That could be a pop-up shop at your university or a kind of a wedding fair somewhere else. So that's quite an exciting opportunity. And then we've also do shorter placements throughout the year. For example, Oxfam have this campaign called Secondhand September. So we are looking for campaign assistance to help with particularly busy periods like that. All the all our placement roles, they are a hands-on experience. You know, no one is making tea or coffee or doing basic admin. So I know from when I was at university, a lot of people who did placements with kind of your big brands, they weren't actually that great in terms of learning experiences. They were starting at the bottom, essentially making tea, coffee, and doing a lot of like admin duties. So with our placement students, we do give you a lot of responsibility, but at the same time, you do get a lot out of it, as you're also involved in all the e-commerce and business operations here as well. Okay, and then another thing, so with our volunteering roles, jobs are not guaranteed. However, in my team, the online team, I'd say 75% of us started as volunteers. So they were in the right area when those job roles came out. So as a volunteer, if you're volunteering for Oxfam, you know, you're already in that environment learning, you're learning the roles, you know, you're observing what's going on. And like I said, if you take to it and enjoy it, you do have an advantage when those roles come up, because you understand the environment and what is expected in that role. So what we kind of look for is people that are flexible and adaptable, because our stock situation changes very quickly. Obviously, we're at the mercy of donations, so that might not be summer dresses at this time of year, for example. So we'll have to manage stock so it generates the most money for Oxfam over the year. So for example, we'll hold coats back till say September, October, so those items generate more money then. However, you know, sometimes, you know, we can get shortages, but that's why good communication is also key, because can liaise with WasteSaver next door and let like that team know, look, we're really short of these items, these are what we're after, please prioritize these items. It's a really, like I said, we're home to the transport team, WasteSaver, the online team, and the festivals team. So it is a really collaborative, diverse, interesting environment. We all have that common kind of goal where we're interested in sustainability, and also an Oxfam's mission to kind of end poverty. So generally, there's a real, well, no, I think not generally, there is a really nice working environment, because I think everyone shares a lot of the same values, which is, like Alan said, is something, you know, you're going to get in the charity sector. You know, people, you know, are more values focused, and that's something at Oxfam, in terms of the roles that come up, always really high up the values are mentioned. So we try and be as inclusive as possible. You know, we try and empower our volunteers and staff, and we try and create a really nice collaborative environment for our volunteers and staff to be a part of. Okay, in terms of applying to be a volunteer, everything now is digital. We require one reference. For placement students, we do like a CV and an informal interview. However, if you are interested in volunteering here, I am happy to do hub tours all year round, because I think when people see the place, that it's kind of a really inspiring place to see, and a really interesting environment to kind of learn about. So if anyone ever wants a hub tour, or to see what the volunteering roles are here, please do let me know. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you, Niamh. What's the best way for anyone wanted to kind of get in touch with you to take up your offer on kind of a hub tour, or just to talk to you kind of more about kind of volunteering there?
Okay, well, hopefully my ads are everywhere. I've made pretty good relationships with all the universities, so I think I should be quite well known with the employability teams as well as the volunteering teams. So I know a lot of universities, you have My Careers or Handshake. There's all these, you know, I know every university has a slightly different platform, but you should be able to find us on there. If you Google Oxfam Batley, you will find our application there, and hopefully my email there as well. Anyone who's on this call, I'll leave my email below, so you can contact me. But yeah, the application is quite easy to find. I think if you just put Oxfam Batley volunteering, there's a lot more information there, along with my details.
Thank you. I've just popped the website link into the chat.
Oh, thank you so much.
Well, I know that you've got your email address and your phone number.
Thank you.
Alan's just done the same there for St Anne's. We've got a question from Tom, who says, do many progress into other roles from volunteering? Is it pretty open, or are there more common routes?
Yes, they do. Like I said, a lot of my team have come from starting as volunteers. We're also in quite a big period of change at the moment, so there will be quite a lot of job roles coming out in the next few months, I'd imagine. So roles do come up. There is a role at the moment, my boss's roles come up, so yeah, roles do come up all the time. So yeah, I think if people are interested in volunteering here and they love it and they've taken quite quickly to it, you will be at the, you know, you're at the forefront of it. You know, you've proven yourself already that you're a hard worker and you're showing all those attributes. So, you know, I don't know, it's difficult to say, isn't it? Because I don't want to say you're at the front of the queue, but if people know you can do the job and you've proven yourself already, you stand a very good chance of securing a job if you apply when those roles come up.
Thank you. I've just popped the job vacancies page on the website in the chat as well. I suppose off the back of that, Neve, when obviously you've kind of, volunteering is great for getting that hands-on experience, making those connections, the kind of networking aspect, like you're kind of talking about there. I did a lot of volunteering kind of years ago, and credit it to helping me kind of break into certain areas and jobs. When someone is kind of volunteering there, is there kind of, what's the support available? Is there much kind of, is there a training, kind of supervisions or anything kind of like that? Or is it quite a kind of free flowing?
Okay, so in terms of our volunteering roles, they're very, very flexible. So we don't put any pressure, you know, you're not, you know, I know in shops, charity shops are notorious for you having volunteers opening and closing up, cashing up. We don't put any of that stress on our volunteers here. Which does make it a relaxed environment. In terms of training, usually when people apply, they'll say, I'm interested in photography, I'm interested in copywriting, I'm interested in warehouse, and they'll specify. However, I do also get a lot of volunteers who say, can I have a look around and see what appeals to me? And that's great as well. So what we do is we'd say, right, what area are you most interested in? And we will train you up on that area. Now, for me personally, I love variations. So if I was here all day, I would, as a volunteer, I'd want to do something in the morning and then something different in the afternoon. So I would ask, and a lot of volunteers do ask, you know, to be trained on other things and multiple things. We get a lot of volunteers who, you know, want to be here and want to learn absolutely everything there is to learn, and that's great. Then we also get some volunteers who like the monotony of certain jobs, for example, like being on dispatch. They like routines, and that's fine too. I'd say in terms of jobs, if you're diverse, you're going to stand out more, and you're going to be, if you can do a bit of everything and do them well, you know, you have a better chance of securing a job, because you're more versatile. However, in terms of volunteering, you know, I know we do have people that St Anne's have supported here, for example. We get people from all different walks of life with that, you know, might be going through, you know, mental health issues at the time, or need a support worker, or, you know, so what we try and do is create a space that people can come and go as they like, really. You know, if you're having a bad day, you're not going to let anyone down if you're, you know, you only come in for 3 hours. You know, we're not, you know, sorry, you know, we do try and create like a caring, nurturing environment. And again, some people will train you up, and some people don't take to it quickly, others do. So it's really about catering to the individual volunteer, as each, you know, depending on needs, or, you know, they can extend to computer skills. A lot of people don't have the same level of computer skills. So, you know, what do you want to get from the volunteering experience? And we will make sure you get there. And it might take, you know, a day and everything's clicked, or it might take a bit longer, and we will support your individual journey to make sure that you've got what you want out of the volunteering experience.
It sounds super flexible.
Yeah.
So kind of wherever somebody is in terms of their studies, or just after graduating, they're able to kind of fit it in around other.
Absolutely. And that's what's key for students as well. You know, we've got a lot of people at the moment who are, you know, it's summer, they're looking for a bit more work experience, or to do a summer placement, but then they're like, can I carry on in September when my studies start? You know, I won't be able to do more than once a week or every other week, and then, you know, when I have projects in, I might be busy for a few weeks. Well, that is absolutely fine. You know, we're grateful for any support, really, and if you can do 2 days 1 week and nothing for a couple of weeks, that's fine. It should be we want to create a volunteering experience that's enjoyable and that is flexible to the individual.
And just want to kind of confirm as well, so all of your volunteering roles, students that have graduated as well, they're able to kind of get in touch with you and apply for those as well, or kind of find out more.
Absolutely. I think, you know, people might not want to go in the career of their specialism, and I know, for example, sustainability is such a big topic right now, so it's an area that people can see here and then apply that to future jobs and future roles, and take what they learn, whether that's, you know, ideas or skills, and implement them in other roles. So yeah, I think it could be beneficial for a graduate for lots of different reasons.
Thank you. That hour has actually flown by. We've got a couple of minutes left. I don't know if anyone on the call has any last questions, or Alan and Neve, if there's anything that you want to, any kind of like last things that you want to mention to anyone.
No, as I say, people are more than welcome to have a look at our website. I have posted in the chat the exercise, and that's the assessment. And if you want to have a play around with it, it takes about 15 minutes to do. And it's a really great insight into some of the stuff that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. So, I'll be intrigued by some of the results that you guys get from that.
Definitely. And the last thing, I'm just going to kind of ask of people, if there is nothing else, anything else from Neve, or any other questions from anyone? I've just popped a quick, sorry, a quick feedback form in the chat there. Would take just a couple of minutes, but yeah, if you've kind of got a few minutes spare just to fill that out after this, it would be really appreciated. Again, it's just for us to kind of know what sessions you've gone to. We've got kind of sessions taking place throughout the rest of the week. Later, there will be a recording going on our YouTube channel from University of Leeds on where to look for jobs in Leeds and how to apply to those more kind of practical skills and the actually how to kind of look and apply for things. We've also got other sessions focusing more on kind of sectors as well throughout the week, and we've got some employer site tours tomorrow. I'll pop the rest of the kind of schedule, the Eventbrite, in the chat for anyone that wants to have a look. But yeah, if you could just take a couple of minutes afterwards to fill out that feedback form, it would be really appreciated. Just gives us a bit of a guide on how we can organise the next InLeeds. And that's it from me. Thank you so much, Alan and Niamh. It was really, really good. I've heard kind of before everything that's kind of goes on at St Anne's and Oxfam, but it's really interesting to hear about, again, different opportunities there, and I really appreciate your time. I'm sure everyone else does as well.
A bit out of my comfort zone as well, everyone, so I hope I did an okay job.
Absolutely.
Great.
Yes.
But yeah, really great to learn more about St Anne's as well. I didn't realise how big it was, to be honest. So I'm quite tempted to do this survey myself.
No, and like I say, you know, the recruitment team's contact details on a website, which kind of comes straight into my inbox. So if you want to contact me directly, you can do. I'm also on LinkedIn, so if people want to contact me directly, they can do. But no, I really appreciate everyone listening to me go on. I do talk a lot, so I do apologise.
Same here. We're on, you can find us as Oxfam Batley on LinkedIn if anyone. I'll post about jobs, volunteering opportunities. That's much more business, much more about Oxfam's business. But then also, if you do want to follow Oxfam Online Batley on social media, that gives you a more insight of what's going on at the hub as well.
Thank you. I'm sure any student or graduate that's kind of been in touch with the career service knows to get on LinkedIn. So yes, do that and follow you both. Okay, thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your days.
Bye.
Bye.